Vespa Cypher. Hey gang, this is Mike with Mr. NoFluff.com, and today I'm going to be doing a review of a Microtech Cypher clone, or a fake Microtech. Now, Vespa, which is the company that made this knife, is a top quality clone maker. This is not one of these cheap clones that's out there, and I'll show you a couple of cheap clones that I've owned. Okay, now let me put this disclaimer out there. I bought this knife with my own money. This is not a manufacturer lend me down or a knife dealer lend me. So I'm going to give you an honest review, okay? Because I pay with my own money. I don't have a horse in the race, okay? I don't have a dog in the race, okay? So I bought this with my own money, and I'm very impressed with it. I paid roughly about $140, $160. I can't remember the top of my head, guys, okay? Now, if I would have bought this one from Microtech, their Cypher, I would have spent $500 plus on it. Now, let me say this. I've owned over $2,000 plus in Microtech. I've owned two Ultratechs. I own a Halo 6. I own, fixed blades. I own a UTX 85. So I have a lot of experience with the original article. And the reason I went and bought fake Microtechs is because I was so unhappy with the quality of Microtech, even though I spent so much money in them. Most of my Ultratechs had to go back in the shop. Two of them went back in the shop in the first 14 days I've owned it. My Halo 6 had to go back in the shop twice in the first 14 days I owned it. So Microtech made me go buy Vespa, which is a high quality clone. Now on this knife, they don't claim to be Microtech. When you pull it out, it doesn't say anything that's Microtech. Now this is a high-end clone. Let me show you a low-end clone, okay? This is a low-end clone that I bought from Wish. And you can see that there's a color discretion between this and this. Same on this one, there is none. The colors match perfectly. Now, the steel on this cheap clone is crappy. It's like some, ugly, crappy crap doggy dog. No one knows what it is, okay? I don't carry this. This was one of my very first clones that I bought, and I thought I'm never going to buy a clone, so I bought a Vespa, okay? So I want to show you just a comparison between a totally low-end clone, which is this. You can see there's a color discretion. You can see the quality of the blade is doggy dog. The action is not bad. I mean, it has never misfired on a cheap clone that I got on Wish. However, this Vespa Cypher is on a totally different ball game, ladies and gentlemen. It's on a totally different ball game. Let me pull the light up here so you guys can see a little bit. Okay. Why do I say that? Well, first of all, the materials that they use on this knife is top quality. This is M390, guys. Okay, M390, which is super steel. Okay, and the handle is made out of aluminum and titanium, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, I think this button and some of the screws might be titanium. The other cool thing about this is that you have fiber, carbon inlays, I guess you want to call it. I'm not sure what to call it. And it really looks very, very cool. Now, on a Microtech, you're not going to be able to get this fiber type inlay. But I mean, the quality, the craftsmanship on this is superb, guys. Like, literally, when I run my fingers over this, I can't even tell that it's in here, okay? Now, this knife fires amazingly. Okay? It just kind of hurts my fingers after I do it a bunch, okay? Which is kind of like the Microtechs. Now, this design is one of the reasons I bought this, because it looks so futuristic. It looks like, a circuit board of a computer or something, okay? So this Vespa, Vespa makes two of these Cyphers. They make a low end, which uses D2 steel, and then they make the top end, which uses the M390, and this is the one that I bought, okay? So far, I've owned it for 3 days. I carried it with me every day. I cut grapefruit. I cut my kid's apple. I put peanut butter on it, avocado, and I haven't had any problem with it. Out of all the times that I, play with it, which is like for the past 3 days, like every day. It only misfired one time, and the misfire was not from ejection, but from deployment when I was deploying down. Now, it could have been that my hand hit, or my legs hit the knife because I was sitting in the car playing with it, or hit something, because I was driving, so I really didn't know what happened. But I only had one misfire, and again, it was from retraction versus deployment. Okay, so far it's been very reliable. Again, I've only owned it for 3 days, so I can't give you a long-term review, but I'm very impressed by it. I would say that this knife is 90% or 95% of what a real Microtech quality is, okay? But the price is 90% less. So 90% less in price, again, 95% in quality of the original. Now, the original is 5% better. Now, the question is that extra 5% worth $400 more? That's something that you have to answer for yourself. For me, after I picked this up, I'm very, very happy with it. So I'm not going to buy the original article. Now, I've already owned a lot of Microtechs. Again, you can probably watch some videos coming up. Like I just bought a Halo 6, spent $750 on it. In less than 14 days, I had to send it back in for warranty repair. They sent it back to me. They didn't do the job right. I had to send it back in, and that's why I don't have it right now to show it to you, because I just shipped it out yesterday for warranty in less than 1 month ownership. So this is why I turned into clones, because I figured, you know, what can I lose by spending, you know, like I bought this for like $40, right? Or $60, I can't remember. I bought this for like $160. Now, I will take this every day versus a low quality clone. I'm not a fan of low quality clone. But Vespa is a whole different story, guys. I am basically getting the same quality, if not better, of a Microtech for 90% of the price, guys. Again, I bought this knife with my own money. This is not as a sponsored. I don't do those kind of videos. I don't get lenders from knife manufacturers and do raving reviews. I'm no fluff because I pay for it with my own hard cash, guys. Okay. Now let's talk about some of the negatives that I've seen, which is not much, but I'll tell you a couple. There is a little play in here. If you hold it from here, you can hear just a little play. Okay. Now if you hold it from the very edge, there's more. Now, out of all the OTFs that I have, they all have play in it. This may have a little bit more play than, you know, a Microtech. But again, I don't have my Ultratechs in front of me, so I can't do an honest comparison. But the play is not where I'm like going like this and it's making noise. It doesn't make any noise. It doesn't affect my cutting or anything like that. But it does have a little, you know, wiggle room because it needs to come in and out, right? So all OTFs out the front are going to have a little wiggle room. Even my Halo 6 has wiggle room. But I would say this is a little bit more than the actual Microtech, or I'm assuming. Okay, that's the only one thing. Maybe the you know, the Cypher Microtech may have the same exact play. I'm not sure, but I don't own a real one, so I can't tell you. But is it like too much where it's cheesy? Absolutely not. It's in the tolerance range of other Ultratechs that I've owned, guys. Okay, now it's not like where it's making noise, okay, or anything that's fashion. Okay, this part does make a little noise, but it might have been in my bracelet, guys. Okay, if I'm holding it this way, okay, it does make a little noise. But I think that's with all of them. Okay. Now, one of the cool things, the other, I guess not cool, the other, you know, weakness is that it does scratch up a little too easily. You know, I was tying the little screws here, and you can see that kind of scratched it up, or I kind of scratched it up. So it does scratch a little easily. I'm not sure if the original Microtechs will scratch up easily or not. I'm not sure, but with my other Ultratechs, they did scratch up easily as well. So I would say they're pretty much on par. Now let's talk about that was the only two negatives, guys, that, you know, maybe a little bit too much play, and I wish that it didn't scratch up so easily. Okay, you can see right here where I scratched it up trying to tighten it up. Now let's talk about this grip. You know, when I first saw this, I was like, man, this is going to be comfortable in my hand. And boy, It sure is. It's really comfortable. These little lines in here really play a good grip in it. Like you can't tell. You think it's just for design purposes until you put it in your hand. When you put it in your hand, you really feel these little grooves like digging into your hand without like hurting it. It doesn't hurt it, but you can feel like it's not going to slip out of your hand, you know, anytime soon because of those grooves. And at the same time, the grooves really show, you know, artistic work, right? It makes the knife look like it's futuristic. Okay, the knife has great action. Okay, it has great power when it pops out. I mean, it pops out just like my Ultratech. It pops out just like my Halo. I mean, it has some force when it kicks off. You know, it's almost like once it skids out of your hand. Okay. Now let's do some comparison, okay, with this versus a Microtech Trudon. Again, this is a fake Trudon, but it's very similar to the size of the actual Trudon. Okay, so I want to just do a quick comparison from the Cypher versus the Trudon. Again, both of these are clones. This is a cheap clone. This is more of an expensive clone. This is a Trudon. This is the Cypher, and you can see that the Cypher, the length from this part to this part is exactly the same, but the width is a lot less. I don't know if you guys can tell, the width is a lot less. Now, when I put it into my pocket, there's a world of difference. When I put this in my pocket, it's very big and bulky, and I just carried it for a couple of days because I wanted to test it out, see if I want to buy the actual Microtech Trudon. But after I carried it, I was like, nah, I don't want a Trudon. It's so big and bulky. Now, I bought this Vespa, and I thought, hey, you know, I'm gonna buy this. If I like carrying it, then I'll buy the real Microtech Cypher. But once I got it, I was like, man, I'm just gonna keep this one. I don't need to go buy the real deal. Now, the way this one carries, this one carries like a charm. You know, when I put it into my pocket, I don't even know I have it on me. The other super cool thing about, because it's so thin, the other super cool thing about this knife is that it's ultra light. I mean, compared to this is very heavy. When I put this into my pocket, I totally forget about it. Now, it's a very long knife. It's not a small knife. This is what I would say a large knife. It's not a medium knife. It's not a small knife. This is a large knife. So when I say I put it in my pocket and I forget about it, I really mean that I forget about it, because I really forget about it. It's so light that I don't even realize I have it, and it's so thin that doesn't take a lot of real estate in my pocket. Okay, now let's do a blade comparison. This is a huge blade. Okay, it's really thick too. Let's put it next to this Trudon, this fake Trudon, so you guys can see. You know, so a Trudon and the Cypher are pretty much the same length. Okay, now let me show you a Vespa Halo that I've also owned. Okay, and you can see the difference between, for example, this and this, the Halo versus the Cypher. I mean, you can see that the Halo has a whole lot more size difference. The blade is longer, and also you guys can see that the handle is way longer on this. Now, both of these are made from the same company. This Halo 6 is a low-end quality because it's made out of D2, but I was pretty happy with this Vespa Halo, so I ordered the high-end that's coming in the mail, guys. Okay. So anyways, I wanted to show you a size difference. Let me go ahead and show you the size difference to, let's say, a Benchmade Bellingham, so you guys can look, and you can see that the Benchmade Bellingham and the Vespa Cypher or Microtech Cypher cologne are very close in size. And I also want to show you this Wii knife that I have, that I just recently purchased. Give you guys a size difference. Okay, let me go ahead and put this Halo next to it too, so you guys can look at the size differences in here. So you can see that this Cypher is not a small knife. It's actually a pretty big knife. Let me get another knife, show it to you guys. Okay. Let me go ahead and put this baby over here, and this is a Benchmade bailout, not bug out, but bailout. So you can see that this Cypher is a pretty big size knife. So out of all the Microtechs out there, out the front, if I was gonna buy one from them, it would probably be the Cypher, because the Trudon is just too big and bulky. The Ultratech, which I own 2 of them, they were just kind of like too small and flimsy. The blade was very, very small. Like the blade width of this is twice the size of the Ultratech. And you know, it was kind of like a medium to a small size knife. So if I was gonna buy a Microtech OTF, which I'm probably never gonna buy another Microtech because I haven't been happy with them. I spent $2,270 on Microtech so far, and majority of my Microtech had to go get repaired. Okay, so I would just probably buy a Vespa. Now, if I was going to buy a Microtech and I was going to buy an OTF, the one that I probably would go with would be this one right here, the Cypher, because it's not a small knife, it's not a medium knife, it's actually a large knife, but whenever you collapse it into the handle, it's actually pretty good. It's very, very thin, right? It's very, very thin, and it's very, very light. And the Vespa, they have 2 levels. The level 1, which is the D2 steel, and then the level 2, which is the M390 with the aluminum and titanium clip and ignition button, I guess, the fire button. So I would probably go with the higher end because the quality is amazing. And this fiber is just pretty amazing on it, guys. Let me just show it to you, the quality of it. Okay, I mean, when I run my fingers over it, you don't feel anything. It looks like all one. Pretty amazing work. Now let's talk about the sharpness of this blade. This blade was super sharp. I would say this blade, the knives that I received from Vespa have been the sharpest versus my Benchmade. And then I would say Microtech. They're not only paper cutting sharp, they're like so sharp you can cut your hairs with. And you can see that I've been doing a lot of tests with them. Right now, I had this for a couple of days. Let me do a live test. So it's kind of dull now, but you can see, guys, this thing is super, super sharp, guys, okay? Let me throw that in the trash real quick. So this is one thing that I've been very impressed with the Vespas is that, man, they're delivering some sharp knives, dude. No joke. I mean, when I bought this bug out, it wasn't hair cutting sharp. When I bought my Microtech Halo 6, that was hair cutting sharp. Usually Microtech makes it pretty sharp. Benchmade is sharp, but it's not hair cutting sharp. And Vespa just blows them all away when it comes to sharpness. It's like way more sharper than I think than Microtech, and definitely more sharper than Vespa. Now this Wii knife that I got, I'm pretty happy with this too. This was sharp to cut your hair, but you have to like kind of like wrestle with the hair, right, before it would cut. Unlike this one, okay? So this Wii knife was pretty awesome knife. It's pretty sharp too. It's more sharper than my Benchmade, but I haven't had a knife that's as sharp as a Vespa, guys. Like literally, they've been impressing me. Now, let me tell you a little story with this one. I bought this one from these guys. This is a Halo 6, and I was doing a stab test, and it collapsed. And I messaged these guys, and they didn't want to give me my money back or send me a new one, but I did a video about them, and they finally refunded me the money for this one because it was collapsing, okay? And then so I ordered another one from them. But after I opened it up, I'm not sure what was the problem, but now it's not collapsing. I stabbed the crap out of it and it's not collapsing. That's why I've gone ahead and ordered this knife, and I've gone ahead and ordered a couple of other knives from them. So at first when I got my Vespa, I wasn't happy, right? I was like, man, what the hell, dude? Because it was collapsing on me. But then I opened it up and put it back together. I didn't do anything special with it. Maybe there was just a little bug, but afterward it started working. I did have a little problem with my Vespa. The little screw fell off, but it doesn't hinder its performance in any shape or fashion. And when I got this one, I tried to tighten all the screws, and some of the screws were a little bit loose. Maybe because after the deployment, it makes it loose because of the vibration. So I tried to tighten it up, and that's where I scratched my brand new. And I'm kind of sad about it. So that's the only negative thing about this, is that it does scratch very quick. I mean, it's not the knife's fault. I kind of screwed it up by over tightening it, and the joint fell off. I guess the screwdriver fell off and it scratched it. So it's not really the knife's fault. It's probably more my fault than anything. And that has happened with my Halo as well, guys, okay? Do I have any negative Nope, I'm happy with this knife, you know. This part does make a little noise when I shake it. This is my ring. But it's very quiet. When I deploy it, there's nothing. Okay, you still hear a little noise here, but in this position, nothing, only at this positioning. Okay, this is a freaking amazing knife. I mean, especially since they put the carbon fiber inlay. I mean, I've only seen these on the Marfion custom knives that Microtech offers, and they're like thousands of dollars. So for a knife that cost me maybe like 160, 150, I can't remember off the top of my head, to get that functionality, it's pretty freaking amazing, guys. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this knife a 10, guys. There was nothing wrong with it, right? Literally nothing wrong with it. And it worked perfectly. I've owned it for 3 days. I carried it every day with me. I'm pretty happy with it, but I'll do a long-term review. Maybe it won't work great in the long term. I'm not sure, guys, okay? So I'm Mike with MrNoFluff.com. Thank you for watching. Click the like button. Don't forget, leave me a comment if you own a Vespa and what is your experience with the Vespa, or if you're thinking about buying a Vespa. If you want to know where exactly I got this, I might leave a link below. It may be an affiliate link, which means that if you buy from it, I may get paid for it, but I might not even do it. I'm not sure. So if there's a link below, you know where I bought it from. I'll give you where I bought it from. If you buy for it, I may get a couple of bucks. I'm not even sure because I've never used an affiliate link before. So I'll let you know when I do upload this video if I'm willing to put the affiliate links, because I do get a lot of people trying to sponsor me on my videos. I declined them because I want to give you guys a no fluff review at my real estate dojo. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Click the like button, share this message. Let me know your thoughts below. Beautiful knives, guys. Both of these are amazing knives, and I'm happy to own a Vespa. Peace.